Welcome back. The Florida legislature has one responsibility: pass a budget. But the 60-day session has come and gone, and we are nowhere close to a budget deal, as House Speaker Danny Perez, Senate President Ben Albritton, and Governor Ron DeSantis can't agree on the details. Joining me now to discuss it is State Senator Shevrin Hones.
Yeah, listen, the Republicans have been in charge within the state of Florida for over 20 years. Any discrepancies that we are seeing right now within the budget here within the state of Florida is because it has been created by my Republican colleagues. Whether it's too much spending, whether it's overspending, the Republicans have been the ones who have been in charge for this long. With that said, the Democrats in the Senate, Senator Albritton has been very inclusive in making sure that we're very clear where we are in the stage of the budget. He has been very inclusive when it comes to why the stall and why the Senate is moving the way we are doing, because the Senate is listening to the economists and what the economists have said that we need to do as a state to cut back on spending to ensure that we are not tapping into reserve money later on down the line, because COVID money is no longer money that we have in our budget anymore. So I believe that the frustration is not just me being a Democrat, and I want to move the party outside of this, because at the end of the day, if the budget doesn't get signed, no one cares whether you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. People are going to be frustrated because we were not able to do our one constitutional duty, and that was to pass a balanced budget.
You said something that was really important just a second ago, which is that Florida has benefited greatly, or did benefit greatly, from all that COVID-related money, all that spending out of Washington that Ron DeSantis and others have so vociferously criticized. But now that that money is gone, state economists are projecting that within 2 years, the state could be facing a $7 billion deficit. And so that really gets to the point of the tension between State Senator, or the Senate President Ben Albritton, and House Speaker Danny Perez. Danny Perez has offered a massive cut to the sales tax, lowering it from 6 to 5.25. That would cost about $5 billion. In other words, $5 billion less in revenue coming into the state. Senator Albritton doesn't think that that's wise, given what the economic horizon is. You don't want to be cutting taxes and cutting revenue at a time when you're facing higher and higher deficits. Is that, do I basically get that right?
No, you absolutely. It's absolutely correct. And I mean, along with that conversation is the governor's proposal in the elimination of property taxes, and wanting to have that conversation. And here's what I'll say. All of these conversations that is happening, whether it's property tax conversation that the governor is having, or whether it's the disconnect between the House and the Senate when it comes to sales taxes, the one question that I have for everyone, I believe that even Floridians are asking, what makes sense and how to ensure that the math is mathing. If you look at the property taxes and what the governor wants to talk is talking about, in the elimination of the property taxes, and I made it clear that if the governor and those who support the elimination of property taxes can show me, and also show Floridians how services will be paid and fill the over $40 billion gap that will be missing from our general revenue. If you can show me how that happens, then we can have a larger conversation. But the math is not mathing in any of these conversations. The state of Florida would not have to have had these types of conversations if we were being fiscally responsible. But we have not been fiscally responsible. And I must say it again, and I apologize for making it clear that the Republicans have been the ones who have been in charge. So if we're looking at any fiscal constraint, if we're looking at any fiscal turmoil within the state of Florida, it has been caused by my colleagues. And the fact that we are in a position I'm almost about to run out of time to pass a balanced budget because of differences of spending, that we as a body should have been responsible enough in how we spent it. It is unfortunate, because at the end of the day, but here's what I'll say: while they're playing politics, there are Floridians who, in their expectation, is for us to be grown-ups in the room and pass the balanced budget to ensure that people's lives are not halted.
The notion of eliminating property taxes entirely, it's a great soundbite for the
Of
governor
course,
to
it sounds
say,
amazing on billboards and bumper stickers.
but it's the property taxes that pay for things like police and
Right,
fire
right,
and schools and all
right.
those sorts of issues,
Right,
correct?
right, right. I mean, and listen again. I mean, it sounds good. It sounds good on here. It sounds good when the governor says it at news conferences. It sounds good on bumper stickers, but it just does not make sense right now because no one can talk about how the math is mathing because it just don't math. It doesn't math up correctly and how we will be able to fill a 40, 45, even some economists are saying $50 billion gap that will have to be filled if we eliminate property taxes.
Is that just at the state level, or does that also count what would happen at the local level with regard to elimination of property
Of
taxes?
course, of course it will interfere with local governments, and I'm sure our county and even our municipalities. I'm sure they themselves are like, please, let's end this conversation because you all have already preempted us with this, preempted us with that, and now you all are talking about the elimination of property taxes. I mean, some cities will not be able to survive, and I want my colleagues who are having this conversation, especially those who represent rural counties and cities, your county, your cities will be the main ones on the chopping block if we continue, if we go down this route of eliminating property taxes.
Uh, You know, I think that it's easy to sort of point to the issue of property taxes. I've never really heard a lot of people complain about property taxes, not nearly as much, at least, as they do their insurance costs. And so I think that rather than addressing the true 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is the cost of insurance on individuals, if the insurance industry, if the insurance prices were better in Florida, I don't think you'd hear a lot of complaints about property taxes. Do you
Well,
agree?
what you just did is you called out the elephant that's in the room. Yeah, the state of Florida is trying to look everywhere but where we should be looking at, and that is addressing the true elephant in the room, and that is property insurance. It is a conversation that the legislature have drug along Floridians, saying that we are fixing it and have not done anything to fix property insurance. We said that in the next 2 to 3 years, people will start seeing relief. People are now asking the question, when is that relief going to come? And now we're trying to put what they say lipstick on a pig and say now we need to get rid of property taxes, and this will ensure that individuals can maintain their homes or they have more money in their pocket to pay their property insurance. People are not stupid. People understand that they are that the government, I'm gonna say it, is playing in their face.
I want to change gears for a second because the governor just signed a bill that you were one of the sponsors on, that it was important for you, dealing with foster care and foster parents. Talk a little bit about what that bill did, and this being one of the signs of, Tallahassee actually getting something right.
Yeah, listen, I'm proud. I'm proud of the work we did. I'm proud of the governor signing our bill. Yeah, we're currently right now foster parents. If you are licensed in, let's say, Orlando, you can't move to Miami with your license because you are licensed in a particular county or municipality, which is a child welfare issue because if you are a foster parent, you desire to move. Now those children who are your foster children are in limbo, and we wanted to eliminate that because we already are at a deficit when it comes to foster parents. So now with this bill that I was so happy to carry with Representative Gallup Franklin, and that was to ensure that individuals who are licensed wherever they are, even if they move, the license move along with them. That
Within the
ensures
state of Florida, within the
within the
state of
state of
Florida.
Florida, you can't
So,
move
I mean,
from.
we see this now. There are a lot of families in South Florida where the cost of living is so great that they're moving to other parts of the state that may be a little bit cheaper.
Right.
And so in that scenario, if they were a foster parent, their license would follow with them, so they would be able to continue
That's
to
right.
do that. Now, the only question I would have is, do all the safeguards, all the regulations, all the rules regarding it, all the oversight that comes with making sure that foster parents are living up to their responsibilities, does that get affected all by that? Will they slip through the crack if they move from one jurisdiction within the state to another?
No, nothing changes. All the regulations stay the same. The checks and balances stay the same. I would not support anything otherwise.
We'll be right back after this break.